So how to apply the law of attraction to scale your business to the next level. So you're pretty clear on where you're going. You've been doing the meditations, you've been doing your studies, and now you're taking the right actions, meaning you're walking in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You're acting as if you have it now. But there's a missing step that most people don't talk about, and that's called detachment. If you see it in your mind, you're doing the meditations, you're feeling as if you have it, and you act like it, but yet you're still getting too attached to the outside world, meaning the projection is controlling your feeling state. All your work is going in vain. If you don't learn this step that I'm going to be covering with you guys today in this video, you might as well just put everything in the trash. You have to learn this. So what I'm taking you guys through is a training that I did with my inner circle clients. On this particular lesson right here, they wanted this training on detachment. So sit back, relax, apply this, and I know you're going to get results. See you on site. You're the observer and connected to this 3D world. Actually, let's do it this way because it's thought. Don't mind me, guys. This is just like an idea that's in my mind. It's not science. It's just something that I kind of see here. So here you are. You're thinking centered. So you have the ability to think. And there's a line, let it be red, that's line that's connected to a piece of code. Okay? Inside the matrix, inside this hologram. Okay? That code, therefore, then projects. Okay, this is supposed to be like a circle with, like, I don't know, maybe a house in it. And a tree. That's a tree. Okay. And then you got like your significant other right here. Right? And then you have your money in your bank account. I am not an artist, as you can see. Okay. So it's a one-way street. From your thoughts, you're able to observe. You're able to use your eyes and you observe, okay, this right here. Thoughts are connected. Do a highlighter. Thoughts, I'm going to use the yellow to highlight. Thoughts in a one-way street. Thoughts are connected to a code that's built inside this matrix. It's a simulation. And I'm going to read this in a minute. Even Wallace Wattles said it like this. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which in its original state permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by that thought. You can form things in your thought, and by impressing your thought upon formed substance, can cause the things you think about to be created. Okay, what does that mean in layman's terms? Let me get this for you. Here, I'm going to read this to you from multiple different angles. Hear me out here. All right, let's talk about it from a simplified and practical standpoint. Everybody pay attention. I'm going to say this 3 different times in 3 different ways so you guys can fully understand this. First one, simplified and practical. Everything in the universe comes from an intelligent, invisible force that fills all space. When you focus an idea with belief, it begins to take shape in reality. By holding a clear vision of what you want and impressing it upon the universal force, you can bring it into existence. Let's talk about it from a scientific and energetic standpoint. There's an energetic field that connects and creates everything in the universe. Focused thought interacts with this field, shaping reality according to the image held in the mind. By constantly directing your thoughts towards a specific outcome, you influence energy to manifest into form. Let's talk about it from a spiritual standpoint. A divine intelligence exists everywhere, acting as the source of all creation. Every thought is a seed planted into infinite intelligence, growing into a physical form. When you align your mind with faith and clarity, you co-create your desires with the universe. You guys following me here? I want to make sure I see you guys. So, in other words, this is what I'm seeing. Here you are as a thought being. You're able to originate thought. Unconsciously, our thoughts are projecting onto that code, that formless substance, that what we just talked about from an energetic magnetic field or infinite intelligence, whatever field, whatever description you want to talk about. Our thought is projecting unconsciously onto the code, the computer program, which then projects into the material world a direct reflection of that thing, which shows up in your health, wealth, relationship, happiness, and your material reality. You then observe that thought, and it starts to self-perpetuate. So you're the observer and the creator. in this particular case. And it's only a one-way street for most people. It's a one-way street going in the exact yellow highlighter I just did right now. What we need to do, we'll do it in purple, is you need to take control of your thoughts and say, what do you want? Because where most people get stuck, I'll draw it back in yellow here, or actually do red. They just observe here, and it just comes back here, which sends it back, and they're just going in this infinite cycle of doom. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to make some changes. We're going to start to become aware. What we're going to start to do, let me get rid of some of this here. What I will ask you guys to do in purple is to hold the truth. Hold the truth. What does it mean, the truth? The truth is to think an original thought, and to impress it onto the code, despite what you see on the outside world, long enough for it to manifest. You're going to hold it in your mind, you're going to hold it in your heart, and you're going to hold it in the actions that you take with your law of assumption, assuming you have it already as you take a certain action. It's very important you do all of those. So I'm asking you to hold the thought of the truth, which is what you want, and you project that to the code, which is what we've been learning all this week with meditations. That is how they tell you what to do, but not how to do it. The way you project is with the meditations, the easiest way. You have a sleeping meditation, aka, or I guess you can say your eyes closed, right? A sleep-like state, your eyes are closed, you're laying down. Your internal world's more powerful than your outer world. Any of the visualizations we have covered in this last couple weeks. Or you do it as a walking meditation. And I don't mean like the one I've trained. I'm talking about you walking every day. From the moment you wake up, you're taking the shower, you're in the gym, you're taking the sales call, you're making the content as if it's done already. You're walking, living, breathing frequency of the person that you want to become. You are projecting to the code what it is that you want to the exclusion of what you don't want. That is where truth comes in. You have to focus on the truth, which is what? The original thought that you create to the exclusion of what's going on out here. This is where the willpower comes in. You have to hold it long enough. Where most people do is they quit because they're not seeing it happen. And it's so easy to get sucked back into this if you don't study. This is why I started with today's call. I had 400 people take this program with me, guys. 400. And today we have 4 people on the call today, which is fine. You know, it is what it is. And it's so easy for us to get sucked in the trap. Because the moment you stop, I'm telling you, it's creeping up on you. The outside world is going to creep up on you. It's said in Outwitting the Devil that the devil is not like some redhead pitchfork person. It's thoughts that have gone dormant. It's the hypnotic rhythm. It's sleepless thoughts. It's not studying and lack of awareness. The moment you stop studying is the moment the darkness begins to creep into your mind and you get sucked back into your material world. I'm telling you this from personal experience. I'm just realizing it this week because I wasn't studying as deeply. I'm talking about deep study, not just here and there walking. I'm talking about sitting here at my desk with a pen, phone off, studying, working, thinking, like really understanding this. And I realized like not only do I feel more power, not only do I have more faith, not only do I have more strength and wisdom to conquer those negative feelings. I woke up this morning, looked at how many YouTube views my last video got, and I started instantly getting into a negative vibration. 1,000, not even 1,000, 700 views, 800 views on one video. That hit me because I'm not used to that. And I'm thinking, why am I sitting here making 1 hour long videos, planning these videos and editing for hours to only get 800 views? But when I first started, I would get 4,000 views in the first couple hours. That is not right. Instantly shot myself into a negative vibration. I even told myself I wasn't going to look at numbers in the morning, but I still did it. And I got sucked into the material world, thinking like this is my reality, when that's not true. Because I was not aware. I had started my morning. I hadn't fully prepared my mind. This is why it's so important when you first wake up. I told you, guys, and myself included, I'm not perfect yet. We can't be looking at our numbers, our Instagram, our bank accounts, these things when you first wake up. You got to take control of your consciousness first. Even if it's just 5-minute meditation or 2 minutes, whatever, so you can arm yourself again. If not, it's like you're a baby waking up, getting hit with trauma of whatever's going on in the outside world, and you instantly get sucked back. And then pile on the fact that they're probably not going to meditate, they're probably not going to study, and then they wonder why their life is not going the way they want it to go. They wonder why they're stuck. They wonder why everything is slow or inconsistent. If you're finding inconsistencies, this is what you're inconsistent with, myself included. Why is my YouTube views like that? Because I keep reinforcing it. I keep looking at the views, which causes thoughts in my mind, which causes feelings of lack and limitation, which creates energetic feel, because I'm still working. Remember, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So I'm energetically in a lack feeling state, which means I create titles, videos, and thumbnails in such manner. Until I learn, or which I already do, until I then reject the outside world, nothing will change. Until I wake up, until we wake up. Why would you, guys, you have to study. I'm saying this to everybody. Guys, I'm here. You guys have already paid. You're here. Show up. Try your best to show up on every call. I'll be here Tuesdays and Thursdays and pouring in belief into you guys so you can actually start to do this. We'll say it in different ways, repetitiously. Let's continue. The human race has confined its efforts wholly to the work of its hands and has applied manual labor to the forms of the world, seeking to change or modify already existing forms. Our human race has never thought of trying to cause the creation of new forms by impressing thought upon the formless substance, aka 95% of people that you run into on a daily basis have no idea what we're talking about, and they will drag you back into the matrix if you allow them. If somebody is not actively studying this material, be careful. Obviously, you have loved ones, but be careful. They will drag you into their reality. And if they're not on, I don't talk to I love my grandma, but I don't talk business. I don't talk numbers with grandma. We're not doing that because she doesn't see what I'm doing. She doesn't see what I see. She sees what she sees with her eyes. She doesn't see what I see. Why should I communicate with my ideas with others that are not going to build me up? I'll lead you with this one here. This one is this is one that is really important, and it's almost what I just said right now. This is, by the way, this is what I've been studying. You guys can see my notes here, right? I have said that an individual gets rich by doing things in a certain way. In order to do this, you must become able to think in a certain way. Your way of doing things is the direct result of the way that you've been thinking. Okay? So, bringing this into my personal life, I want to scale to the next level, but yet I feel like my business is not doing it what I want it to do. And I kind of briefed on it on the last call that I there's two worlds that I kind of live in as a teacher of this material. One is I know this and I could teach this for hours, for days, for the rest of my life as a teacher. One thing is to teach, one thing is to live. And I noticed that I was pouring a lot into you guys in the YouTube channel and to my girlfriend, which is totally fine, normal. But I didn't put time to pour into myself. And I became a teacher and less of a living. Or at least I was living it, but what needs to become of me to go to the next level, I wasn't doing that. And so what I realized is just what I just read right here is to go to the next level, we have to do things in a certain way. You can still take an action, launch the ads, make the YouTube video, build the funnel, and it still not be done a certain way because you're not operating on the frequency of abundance because you're still being sucked in by this material world. The first step is you need to get free. You need to get free before you start doing that thing. I'm telling you right now. Nothing in my life, or everything in my life will start working once I become free again. Free is shifting from the outside world controlling 51% of my mind to 49%. And flipping, the moment you flip is when everything starts flowing again. It's effortless. The money comes easily. It just starts showing up. The deals are just coming. The opportunities are flowing. The doors are being opened because you are being open. You are in flow. You are tapped into the law of abundance. You have not allowed the outside world, but there's a period where you need to shift. That started for me 2 days ago as I began studying deeply, deep studying. Surface level study, deep study. This is big. This is the first step towards getting rich. The first step to getting rich is to think what you want to think regardless of appearance. You have the natural and inherent power to think what you want to think, but it requires far more effort to do so than it does to think the thoughts which are suggested by the appearance of things. Remember, I told you guys that human beings have the ability to originate thought. We are the only living creature on this earth that has the ability to originate thought. It's like this formless substance. Let's go back to the code. This formless substance here, we're going to highlight here again. We're going to highlight in red. Or actually, let's do purple again. This formless substance here, it can only be molded by thought. Okay, consciousness. There's two types of consciousness in this world simulation. One is called nature and instinct that's been programmed into all living creatures other than humans, aka if you get for example, this is what the hell do you call it? Passion fruit, right? I have passion fruit seeds right here in this drink here. If I take this passion fruit, for example, plant it into the ground and it turns into a passion fruit, not a cucumber. That is a piece of consciousness that's built into the DNA of the seed. When the horse comes out as a baby, it first of all it got conceived as a horse, not a whale. It doesn't turn into a whale. It turns into a horse and grows as a horse. Right? Very basic things. That is one form of consciousness. One form is inherent instinct that's bred into the DNA of all living things living in the simulation. That's one half. And then there's a complete other half that we have the ability to do, and that's to originate thought or to originate consciousness. We have that ability, which nobody else does. But what happens is we lose that ability by getting sucked into the material world that we forget that we originate thoughts. You have to grow your awareness and realize that you can originate a new thought. That you don't have to be the horse. That you don't have to be the broke person. You don't have to live in that house. You don't have to drive that car. You can create a new reality. The horse can only be a horse. The cucumber can only be a cucumber, but you can build whatever you want because you have the ability to originate a thought and live from that thought and to assume you're that thought and to act from that thought and to hold that thought to the exclusion of what's going on to the projected outside world because you know that projection is not real because behind that is a code that's connected through thought and not through material. And that all things in this world are one form or different forms of the same thing. That code. You don't see the code. You see the appearance of the code projected. For example, you're watching me on Zoom right now. You see the whiteboard, you see these little things. What this is code ones and zeros that is programmed on your computer to show color, whiteboards, and this. All this is a hologram of code, binary code behind the computer program that built the Zoom. You realize that there's a code, you're seeing the projection of that code on your computer. There is a binary code behind the appearance of your living situation, the ads that you're running, the business that you're doing, the deals that you're doing, the cash that you're trying to do. There's a code behind that. It's a formless substance. It's an original substance that bends to the thought of you as an original thinking creator. Drop a 3 in the chat if you're following me here. It requires more effort. It requires more effort for you to think your thoughts when the outside world suggests otherwise. To think in according to appearance is easy. To think in accordance to the projection in front of you is easy. To think truth, which is the original thought, despite what's on the outside world, to think truth, regardless of appearance, is laborious and requires the expenditure of more power than any other work that you have to perform. In other words, this will be the hardest thing you will have to do, and the most effort you will have to hold will just be the fact that you have to hold an original thought until it becomes manifest. You have to hold that thought in your mind, original thought, through imagination. You're going to use your willpower to keep it focused as a laser. You're going to use your resilience and reasoning to navigate the world until the computer code projected in front of you therefore changes. That is the true work that we all have to become good at. And I'm telling you right now, the moment you stop studying, it's the moment you start going back into darkness. I've been doing this now 5 years, and this happening to me. It was happening to me, and I caught myself, and I'm getting back into it because I was just going in a direction that I wasn't happy. And I thought because I was teaching it, because I was like sharing it, that no, because it's not my work. It's not here on this call. Same like you guys. My work is not on this call teaching it to you. My work is not making a YouTube video. My work is done at 7 a.m. on top of this rooftop here at my pool, where I have this book, a pen, my phone's turned off, and I study for 1 hour until 8:30 a.m. That is my work. And then my work is on the treadmill as I'm listening to another lesson. And I listen to it. I read it, and I listen to it. 2 hours a day. My work is done when I do my meditation, when I do my self-talk, when I do my afternoon meditation, when I fall asleep to the wish fulfilled. This is my work. It's not the YouTube video, and it's not the sales call, and it's not this call on Tuesday and Thursdays. It's the same for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Your work is not on this call. It is done when you wake up at whatever time to get out your TIR workbook, get out whatever work. Well, that's the workbook I have for you now. I'm going to be creating my own workbook and stuff over the next several months for you guys, right? Because I have to create my own stuff here. Like, for now, you guys have TIR, right? I give you for free a very powerful program that they would charge you for. As you guys kind of notice, that's not your email that I gave you. Like, that's somebody else's. Like one of my old clients. If not, I have to charge you for that. So I just gave it to you guys because you guys need that. You need something to study as I'm taking you through this high level stuff. It's an important thing. You need to get in there and start studying that. That is where your work is done. You have to continue to study and empower yourself so that you have the strength to hold that will again and hold the image of what you want. I posted on Instagram today because people think I just make this shit up. And I'll say, guys, here's what I'm doing. Here's how I'm applying it. When I post the win of the whatever win I do, just know that it started today. Here's how I do it. And I will post the win, and people think it's a game. It's not a game. Well, I'm playing in a game. I'm just number one player. I'm the developer. So, as are you. But the development only comes when you decide to grow your levels of awareness. That is done through study. So, remember, the hardest thing we'll have to do is to hold your thought to the exclusion of the projection. But you have to also hold the truth that there is a code behind that, and you can change that, right? I'm saying this repetitiously to hold it. There is no labor from which most people shrink as they do from that of sustained and consecutive thought. Most people, 95% of people, would rather die than think. 2% of people think. 3% of people think that they think. 95% of people would rather die than think. 95% of people would, if you say the word Trump, would go ape shit. They have been programmed by the Matrix. Some emotional reaction, which they have no idea where it came from, or Biden, or this, or that. It's just boof. They are lost to the matrix. That's just an example. Politics really gets people. Something where it's like, do you even know why you feel these emotions? When you see something, why do you react in such a way? You are a slave. The matrix, there's people out there that know this stuff and they want to control the people. Because guess what? If you control the attention of 300 million people, what will you do with it? You will monetize them. You will enslave them. You will tell them to go to school so they can be good workers. You will get them to pay taxes. You will get them to not be too coherent and conscious of what's going on in the world. They will believe you because you've been programming them since a child, as you program their parents, called culture. So they just keep you in your little slave thing. Your little slave thing, just having fun. Don't worry, they're just worried about the who's playing, who's on the Super Bowl this weekend. They're just worried about the new album that came out from Taylor Swift. Let them go, as we control your entire reality for the rest of your bloodline, because people are sleeping. And if you try to convince one of these people to wake up, you will get hit with, "Oh no, this sounds crazy. That sounds great. Girl, when are we going back out again?" Some shit like this. They're not even ready. They don't. Go somewhere else. Don't even let those people into your circle unless they're loved ones, but keep your distance. Love them from a distance. It's time to wake up. So most people will shrink when it comes to this kind of work. This is especially true when the truth is contrary to the appearance. Meaning, wait, so how I don't have the money right now. How am I gonna do it? I don't have the followers. I don't have the resources. Therefore, I don't have it. I'm not gonna do it. Right? It's most people shrink. 95% plus, 97% plus people will shrink the moment that they have to use their brain to originate a thought that's contrary to the fact that they don't have what it is that's in their brain in that original thought. Does that make sense? Here they are trying to build a business to 7 figures a year. They don't have anything that in their current reality. They're sleeping in a car. They're sleeping on a couch. They've been inconsistent for years. And here they are thinking, how is this going to happen? Well, if you hold original thought with your willpower, because you have an understanding that there's a code behind that, and you can project your thought onto that via your frequency, thoughts, feelings, and actions, you can hold that state long enough for the appearance to shift, and you will notice that it comes to you effortlessly via the law of attraction, and you've now shifted your reality, and now you make $100,000 a month in less than 45 days. This is how I've been living now for the last 5 years. But the moment you stop studying, you'll get sucked right back into that reality. It doesn't matter how. It does not matter how much you've been studying, how long you've been studying. It will suck you right back in because the devil loves an empty brain. He will fill it with negative thoughts, limited doubts, worries, and paradigms. Every appearance in the visible world tends to produce a corresponding thought in the mind which observes it. This can only be prevented by holding the thought of the truth. And I'll go ahead and finalize on this note before we hop into our mastermind, where you guys will discuss what I'm talking about here and how to apply it to your life. So we'll come back here. Let me read it one more time so you guys are clear what I just said. Every appearance in the visible world tends to produce a corresponding form in the mind which observes it. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow dollar signs to represent our example here. Okay, $1 sign is not the good money, broke. $3 signs is complete abundance, millionaire. So what a person sees is they open up their little phone here. Okay, they got their little Bank of America app. Okay, or their Square or their Chase, whatever Stripe, whatever they collect money on, and they see that they are broke. Okay, they then register that in their mind because it's literally right in front of them, which then creates feelings of poverty and brokenness in their life. which means that they're going to vibrate out here, and whichever action they're going to do, they might still be working, but it's coming from a lower frequency. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So they're going to take actions to the degree of broke. Does that make sense? It's like people just look at the action for what it is objectively, but they don't understand that you have to look at the action to the degree of it subjectively. Meaning, you're taking an action to the degree of what frequency? You're taking an action to the degree of brokenness in this degree. You're taking an action to the degree of brokenness. Okay? So here they are, projecting like this. I'll read it one more time. Every appearance in the visible world tends to produce a corresponding form in the mind which observes it, which is exactly what I'm talking about. You look at your bank account, and it creates this corresponding form. This could only be prevented by holding the thought of the truth. Well, what's the truth? Well, the truth states that you are wealthy and abundant. The truth states that here you are seeing brokenness, but you see the wealth, 100,000 a month. You see the 100,000 a month because you reject the outside world, and you do your meditations and everything I've taught you this week, last 2 weeks, to have the feeling states. You close your eyes because this is bullshit out here. You don't want to see this. You close your eyes and you make this more real. So now you're going to take actions to the degree, remember, you're taking action, same action, but now you're taking action to the degree of your rich self. You're taking actions now to the degree of your rich self, your abundant self. Which then, therefore, because there's a code behind it, means that you will then attract the thing to fill the bank account in whatever method is the easiest and most effective. Law of least resistance. And you will then fill up your bank account with the missing things to match the frequency of what you had originally here. And now you have now completed the cycle. Does it make sense? All right, let's get into some questions now. This is what I've been studying. This is how I study, guys. When I see this is how I study every morning. I know I've been doing this for some time, guys. If I got on a study session with Bob, you'd like blow my mind. So I can answer some questions. Anybody have any questions now? Clarifications?
I think that was really good. And that was actually almost what I needed to hear, because what I was going to ask was kind of about staying detached from the outcome, and how, you were saying you're looking at your YouTube results, and I'm thinking about when I release a song or I do this project or whatever, and then I know the result is going to be like what it was in the past, and I have to stay in that mindset of I need to project with the abundant frequency. And do you have any thoughts on that? Like, you kind of answered that, but staying detached from the outcome. And in the past, when I've had good results with things, it was always, I know that it's always going to work out as it should. That was always the frequency that got me to the result that I wanted. Just knowing that regardless of how it happens, it's going to work out as it should.
So you have to hit all three planes. Remember, good question, by the way. Most people are missing on one of the planes. So you have to make sure that you are studying. Studying fills the conscious mind so you can start to gain understanding. Through study is everything I just talked about right now. Through study, you gain awareness and you gain understanding. If you don't study, and when I say you, I'm just saying everybody. By the way, I might even post this on YouTube. That was a fire training. This study, this is gained through you guys being in this program. Everybody else on YouTube or anybody, like, they don't have this. What are they going to watch? A YouTube video? Like, what the hell? Or read a book? I give you guys one of the most powerful programs that's literally made me millions of dollars. You guys have the step-by-step. Are you doing it? That's the real question. Through study, studying a program, not just a YouTube video. You guys have to have a step-by-step program with the introspection. You guys have the participant guides. You guys have the audios, right? You have everything. Your 1 hour study in the morning. Do that study. You fill your conscious mind with the awareness so that you can understand how to navigate your feelings in the world. That part is very important. Check. Got the conscious mind. Now, we have to hit the next part, the heart, aka feeling state. We got the thoughts. Now we get to hit the feeling state. Well, we're going to do this through our meditation. The meditations I've been training you guys on this week. Next week we're gonna do breath work, and we're gonna start with breath work. Then we're gonna start doing hemisyncs. Right, we're gonna start getting to the next part. So via meditations now, we get the feelings involved. We close our eyes, make the and I've taught you guys different meditations, when to use them. When it's very important to know what ones to use, when to use them. Right. You get your subconscious involved by doing your meditations, which is the language of the subconscious mind, right? Which is images backed by feeling, done repetitiously. Okay. And then we have to go to the body, where we take quantum actions. This is where a lot of people get stuck, and this is where my one-on-one clients, that's where they see the big results, right? Damien's been in the program for a month, and then we got on one-on-one, and dude got his new car, 20K in cash, investors, like everything, like shit just popped up for him in one-on-one sessions. Right, Damien? I appreciate that video you made, dude. It posted on Instagram. Bro, you hyped me up so much, dude. Like when you share that, like that hyped me up so much, man. To see how quickly you got those results, dude. Well, that's an example of like, it's about the quantum action, and I'll be completely honest with you guys. It's hard to do it by yourself. It really is. That's why I've done one-on-one calls with almost all of you. Obviously having them weekly it's a whole other level, but that's what I try to build in for you guys. That's why for like the next version of the program they're going to be rolling out, it's going to be more expensive for the new people. It's going to be 10,000. Because I'm gonna include one-on-one call for the quarter while they're with me, because I think most people miss this part. They don't know. It's not that they hear it, but they don't know how exactly. Or maybe they get one session, but they need a little bit more. It kind of builds momentum. Like even with like Damien, he it was like okay the first month, the first week, the second week, but by third week everything started working. It took us about 3 calls to kind of like start building that momentum. It's the same thing. You start getting those quantum actions. Most people, especially the guys on YouTube, they do meditations, but they're not doing anything else. It's 3 parts to the pie. First off, luckily for you guys, you have a program. You have a way to study. The only question is, are you doing it? That's the real question. If you're not, well, you know why you're missing. You're literally missing 1/3 of the leg. I have a tripod right here that's holding this camera. It's the tripod. If one of the legs are gone, it literally falls over. It's not going to work. If you're not studying, it just doesn't work. But then here they are, somebody meditating. They don't. Oh, I don't need to pay a coach for meditation. I do it myself. Okay, great. Don't pay somebody. That's the easier part of visualization. But then you go into the other leg, the quantum action. Wait, I gotta take an action. I gotta get uncomfortable. I gotta do this. I gotta get the investments. I gotta get the credit. I gotta make proposals. I gotta reach out to investors. I gotta do this. Move to a new city. Right, whatever the action is. And most people don't know how to do that, and that stops them, and they never hit it, and that's why it doesn't work for them. 3 parts you gotta hit. All right, Zane. So to answer that question, there, you gotta hit all 3. Make sure you're studying to gain awareness. That awareness will then give you ease and a calmness of mind. You back it with any of the meditations that we've covered here, because now you know when to do it. And if you don't know, I can answer those questions for you. And then you back it with the quantum actions. You take your micro actions. By the way, we can even break this down a little bit more. You take your micro actions, and you take your quantum actions. Micro actions are your daily things you got to do. Like this, for example, this call for me is a micro action. I gotta service you guys. You guys have paid me. This is me servicing you. This is not part of my quantum quantum actions. This is a micro action. Things you need to do throughout the day. Okay. Then you have a quantum action. Quantum action is how can I make one action that's worth 100x of one of these? So, for example, I've crossed now 1 million views on YouTube with 140 videos or something. So now my YouTube channel has almost become a micro action. How can I make one YouTube video that gets more views than all 140 of these videos? What would that look like? How would that be? What would that look like? How can I hold that in the screen of my mind to build? And that's what I do. Make sense? Does that help?